Studio. Check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. It's the weekend. We are at Saturday. We are at the 19th of November. We are the weekend before Thanksgiving. We are the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation, and we are getting ready to embrace college football all damn day long. And first off, I've got my guys on the line. I'm going to bring in the evil genius, Dr. Dan. What is going on? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Hatterman. Really glad to be back. It's been an odyssey of travel.
Yeah, no doubt. I know. You've been on the road forever now, kid.
I know. It was 2 straight weeks, man. My kids were missing me. I was missing me, but I'm back. So if you feel like I've just gone MIA, I've just been too damn busy.
Dream, do I have you back as well?
Yes, I'm back on the line. What's going on, fellas?
Oh, we're good, man. Just getting ready for college football and ready to rock and just see what's going on and how we can make some money this weekend. Good morning to everybody. We are the SBTV Nation. Obviously, you know, we're live on Twitter, having a good time, and getting ready with 194 countries strong, and looking forward to breaking this down. So, Dan, have you watched a lot of sports, or you just been tied up with business?
No, I've been able to watch sports, so thank God. I pulled the Real Dream on Monday. I was able to catch a 90-minute deep tissue massage while watching the Giants game.
Oh.
So I needed that for the stress. So at least I was able to do some stuff. But yeah, I was able, to watch a lot of college football because I was actually traveling on Saturday. And when you're lucky and fortunate enough to be able to travel in style, you can watch anything you want.
Oh, that's fantastic. So at the 80-minute mark, how's it work out for you? Do you get nice and refreshed at the end, or what? And I think
let's just put it this way: this chick shows up, and she looked like your grandmother's Eastern European cousin.
Oh,
she was like 90, and you could tell like back in the day. But I was like, oh, this is a little crazy. But great massage. I got to give it up. City of Chicago, you did me well. I did end up dropping like half a G in one of your fine establishments, so. Give it up there.
All right, Dream. I think you know what I'm alluding to.
I do know what you're alluding to.
I was crisscrossing over the road, sir. I was taking the higher ground, as they will say.
All right, guys. So we're getting ready to rock here and have a good time, and just want to go through college football. Dream, you took a look at the Boise State game last night. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, Boise State. I ended up getting that game. I hit the over by 1 point. One point. I hit the over on that. I had, which was just crazy. Good game. You also you were on UNLV. You talked about UNLV not being able to cover the spread. That also came to pass last evening. Boise looked pretty good. Kind of started off a little bit lethargic, and then picked up the pace and got busy a little bit. Then UNLV with the late score, like you said, to get them that backdoor cover, kind of worked out. So it worked out in both regards for us.
Wow, yeah, because we were actually looking at that game, and now that I'm looking at the score, it was right exactly what we talked about. And you know what? It did go over, and sure enough, Boise State does not cover the spread yet again on the blue turf. That makes them 0-6 against the spread in the last 6 games on that blue turf. So, Dream, we're right on the money there.
Right on the money. The call was perfect. So, in other news, Memphis was able to beat Cincinnati last night, 34-7. Just the drubbing went down last night in Cincinnati. So, I don't know. I know we talked about home team dogs.
Yep. Yeah, but that was brutal, man. I mean, Cincinnati, I think, what did they put up? What was it, 16 points in 3 games before last night? Offensively, this team, I mean, that gives them roughly about 23 points in 4 games. So if you look at that, I mean, that's like less than a touchdown a game. That's crazy.
Right, exactly.
So, Dan, what's your thoughts? Did you catch any of the college football last night?
So, last night I was not actually too interested. After what happened to me last Saturday, so I had La Tech last Saturday, and I was feeling very fortunate to pull that out, obviously, with some miracles. And then really still stunned from what happened, obviously, Thursday night, which I know you boys talked about. But I did not like this card coming into this week, and even looking at it deeper, like I have 3 games that I like, but I don't know, man. I mean, some of these games, I mean, the Boise State thing, like for them to be 0-7 against the spread in their last 7 or whatever, that's almost unheard of. Catching overs by 1 point, I'm not trying to get involved in that. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's just nuts how that all worked out. But you know what? We got a full slate of games, and it's going to be kind of crazy as far. I mean, I don't think it could be as crazy as last week, considering the fact that 2, 3, and 4 all went down. So we got to look at this week, and I would expect a lot of these teams to bounce back, to be honest with you. But we always talk about it time and time again. When a team loses, you don't really know where their head's at, especially if they're on the outside looking in. And I wonder how Louisville next week will bounce back after that loss. We're going to have that conversation. But moving on here, let's get right into the college card and have a conversation. Dream, I'm going to let you lead it off. Tell me what you got up your sleeve today as far as college football.
All right. Well, first of all, when you look at today's card, yesterday when I originally looked at the card today, looked at these games, I thought I liked it. Then I don't know how you guys do it, but I take a quick look beginning of the week. Then I go back again, take another look middle of the week. Then I go back again and take a little look, like on Friday night, maybe even a look on Thursday as I'm mixing in, looking at the Thursday game or whatever. And, at some point in there, I'm looking for something to stand out and something to really talk to me. Unfortunately, this card, a lot did not talk to me. It's was, hey, no, don't, because I don't know. But there were 3 games that stood out. So that being said, the first game was a 2:00 game. We're going to look at Utah right now playing Oregon. Yep. I really like Utah today. I think this Oregon team, I've talked about them not being good. They definitely need to get in touch with Chip Kelly because he definitely could use to go back there. Let San Fran loose, go back to Oregon. The Ducks will welcome him with open arms. I think that'd be a great fit for him. Love to get him back there immediately. On the flip side of that, you're talking about one of the worst defenses in college football, giving up 535 yards and allowing 243 yards on the ground. Wow. Utah comes in. They should be really prepared to pound this team as far as pounding Oregon's defense to death. Utah's got a good offensive line. They're physical. They're big up front. I expect them to be able to move things around. Their pulling guard should pull well, and they should set up some really nice blocking schemes to move this ball on the ground against this Oregon team. I like Utah today to win this game. The line is 14.5. You have to buy a point off of it to get it down to at least 13.5, but I'm going to opt for the teaser today, and it's going to be at an 8-point variety, 8.3 teams, and this will be the first of the 3.
All right, fantastic. Dan,
I'm with you there.
You with it?
I locked in Utah is one of my 3 plays today. I got them at -14. Buy your half point if you want. Buy your point. Obviously, get it to 14 or below. I don't think this is going to be a close game.
So.
I think Utah finally can feel their offense, and I think that defense is good enough to slow down Oregon just enough where they win by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Okay, yeah, you know what? That does sound apropos, Dan, to be honest with you. And when you look at it here, Oregon's given up 43.5 points per game, and they're 1-7 straight up in the last 8 games. So this team is definitely, their brains got to be devastated after this year, and they have gotten pounded. Last year, Utah beat them 62-20 in Oregon. So now it comes over to Utah, and I think it's going to be a bludgeoning, Dream, to be honest with you. I like this game. I think you called it right. And even looking at the game log here, Oregon lost to Stanford, who's one of the worst offenses in the pack, and they lost by 25 points in Oregon.
Yeah, this game really should not be close at all from the outset.
All right, sounds good.
But of course, we'll get into halftime, and it'll be Oregon 21.
You know it. 21-19 Oregon at halftime, and then oh Christ,
making stuff, throwing stuff around the house. But no, I like Utah to get this game won today. I think they're going to win today. They're going to come out strong.
All right, sounds good. Dan, I'm going to kick it over to you. What do you got?
So I'll go back to noon, and I'm going to go. This is kind of a dirty game, and I know they've lost 3 in a row, but I got to roll with the Baylor Bears today.
Oh, wow.
-1 at home against K-State. I don't know. I mean, I feel like people are kind of feeling this K-State team. I'm not sure why. I look at Kansas State and I look at losses. On the road they're not very good. I just think that the Baylor team is going to get off to Snide today and win the game on the field at home.
All right, you know what?
I think better talent.
You know what? I don't disagree with you on that game. As a matter of fact, I think that's a pretty good call. Dream, what's your thoughts on the Art Briles Baylor Bears?
Well, not only do they have Art Briles, but they don't got Seth Russell either.
Right.
So, I don't know. I haven't seen the new kid at quarterback. I don't know how capable he is. I will give you this. Kansas State does stink.
Yeah, right on.
I'm all aboard with Kansas State stinking. I've seen them this season, and they've looked absolutely terrible this season. I don't know what happened to that program this year. Coming off a loss to Oklahoma State last week, 43-37. I don't like anything I've seen out of Kansas State this season. So, but I'm not going into this game. Baylor right now is in a free fall. They've lost their last 3 games. They got blown out, beat up their last 3 games. So I don't know what their mental state is right now as far as that's concerned. But I agree that Kansas State stinks, and maybe you're right. Baylor locks in this win, but I'm going to not be involved with it.
Yeah, especially.
I hear you. And I mean, when you talk about the kid coming in, you're talking about. Coming in relief of Russell last week, 6 of 15, 144 yards. Not great. But again, I mean, he's a true freshman. And I actually think that might work to Baylor's advantage because from what I've seen is they're saying that they're still going to run the same offense pretty much. I understand it's obviously not the same quarterback, but I think there's a lot of comfort there. It's not like you got to change your whole system up, right, to fit the quarterback. So I think that helps a little bit. And again, K-State, their coach is like, well, I guess we'll look at his high school film. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. So I just think they win the game today with the kid on the field.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good, guys. So I'm looking at a couple of games here. There is a plethora of nasty games. Nasty ones.
Gross.
And you know what? A couple of games that I want to touch on here is, number one, I'm going to go over to 3:30. And you guys think I might be crazy here, but, we got to talk about this Wyoming team here. Wyoming is hosting San Diego State. San Diego State is 6-0 in conference play, 9-1 overall. San Diego State is minus 10 points in Wyoming. And don't forget that this Wyoming team is the one that knocked off Boise. And, yep.
Pat, listen, you didn't get me up on a Saturday morning early to get on the show to put the San Diego State.
San Diego's top 25, Dream, number 24 in the country.
I know, come on, it's a top 25 matchup, Dream.
Just say it, dog. Throw me Wyoming State.
I'm just saying that this might be a pretty interesting game. And obviously, you got the home team underdog going on, Dream, as we like to talk about. And
the sick thing is, Hatters, I looked at this game too.
San Diego State obviously has been doing their thing this year. They're 10-1 straight up in the last 11 games on the road. But, when I see this and I see the plus 10.5, and I see a Wyoming team that scores almost 39 points a game, going against a pretty stout defense in San Diego State. But I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks. I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to take the Wyoming Cowboys today, Dream. So that's what I'm going to get involved in. I think they're going to – you know how it works. When the teams crack the top 25, sometimes they don't fare that well. And we saw that the other night with Troy. And I think more of the same here. I don't know if Wyoming's going to win this game, but the 10.5, that's a nice number, and I think I'm going to take that plus 10.5.
Well, good luck getting to watch that at any bar in the country today if you're not in one, as you will not get to see that.
No, definitely not. So, Dan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, find your streaming partner and, go forth and prosper. But no, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But no, I kind of like the under in that game, honestly.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, at 57 points, it might be a little bit of a struggle offensively for.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I looked at this game. I see exactly where you're going. I can't go there with you, but I wish you the best of luck.
All right, sounds good. Dream, I'm going to kick it over to you. What do you got next?
All right, I'm going back to the pack again. This team's been emerging, and I guess it's time maybe I pay attention to them because I haven't been for most of the season. I thought they were not that good, but it's time for me to look at them, and I'm going to the USC Trojans.
Yeah, right.
USC has been very impressive. They're coming in, they're playing this UCLA team. I saw UCLA go down to which game did I see them lose that I thought they were a bad team. I saw them go down to Utah, which I've been running with Utah a lot this season. But I had Utah against UCLA. Then they turned around and they lost to Colorado the following week as well.
Was it the Stanford loss?
Who's that?
UCLA, when they lost to Stanford, you were like...
No, it was Utah. It was when they lost to Utah.
Okay.
Look at them. Also, Washington State got them. I mean, UCLA, once again, we're talking about another team that defensively has allowed 356 yards. They've allowed 160 rushing yards, 195 through the air. The defense is just not really all that capable. This USC team out of nowhere, and nobody's really been talking about them. They beat a good Colorado team.
Yep.
And then they beat a dope Washington team last week. Now, the only thing you got to worry about is there that hangover from beating Washington. So now do they get shocked by UCLA? That's the only concern we have. And because there is that concern, we're going to add this to the 8-point tease and get this under a touchdown as well. And that would be the second piece of the puzzle, USC against UCLA.
All right, sounds good. Dan, any thoughts on that game?
No, I'm with you. I mean, I don't think I'm going to take it just because I am worried about the good old college hangover. But really, I mean, USC, and I know it's weird for USC to be under the radar. But since they made the quarterback change, I mean, it's really been the whole season for them. And they made the quarterback change. USC lost to Utah, but it was real respectable, and they haven't lost a game since. I do think that they go on the road and beat UCLA.
All right, sounds good. So, Dan, what do you got next?
So I got one more game today, and I'm going to have to bring it to 8 p.m.
Okay.
And I'm going with the West Virginia Mountaineers with Hatter favorite home team dog, baby.
All right.
Prime time.
Yes. So, yep.
Plus 3.5 points.
Okay. And who are they facing today?
They are facing the Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, wow.
Card, hat. You busy worrying about Wyoming.
I'm gonna get some Wyoming.
The biggest matchup of the day by far.
Yes, sir.
Biggest matchup of this. I think this is going to be the best game on the whole card. I mean, look, you got a team in Oklahoma. I don't think they're very good, and especially they're not very good on the road. Right. I mean, I understand that, their 2 losses came on the road. Houston, which I don't know how you want to feel about Houston. They whatever. And then Ohio State. But, I mean, look, they played a close game at TCU, which should not have been close. Texas Tech almost got them on the road. Iowa State almost got them on the road. And now they're going into West Virginia, which might be the best home team in that conference. I think West Virginia wins the game on the field, but give me 3.5 points all day.
All right, sounds good. I'm not going to get involved in that. Dream, I know that you've been feeling Oklahoma a little bit lately.
I have been feeling Oklahoma. However, I've also been feeling West Virginia. I've been proponent of them for most of the season. I've won, taking them few weeks in a row. I like West Virginia tonight as well. I agree with Dan. The only thing I will say is Oklahoma, though, is in a really good groove right now, and they're really feeling themselves. Got a lot of momentum going into this game. I do agree, best game of the day. At least one of them, because that LSU Florida game looks to be a little interesting. Probably boring, but still a little interesting.
Definitely, yeah. No, you're right about that. I just think that's like a wild card game.
Right, yeah, exactly. But this game, I happen to agree with him. I'm not getting involved yet. Okay, yet. Let my 2 o'clock blow up in my face. Other things blow up in my face, and then I'll be probably, staring at this game. But I do think West Virginia will get the win here. Not run away with it, though, but I think they'll get.
All right.
No, not run away. Not run away. Guys, this is going to be a game I feel like you're going to stomach ache it a little bit. But it's going to come down. You're going to be tied or close, something like that. Maybe West Virginia up a point with 2 minutes left. It's going to come down to a field goal. I truly feel that. And when you got plus 3.5, that looks good all day.
All right, sounds good. So I'm going to move over to the Big Ten. And there's a big question mark on this game. And if it goes the way I think it's going to go, then I'm going to be on a certain side. So let's talk about the Maryland Terps, who have gotten absolutely murdered in their last 2 outings. I mean, where are your heads at after that, after you've lost some pretty big games and gotten destroyed? Going into number 18, Nebraska. Nebraska's minus 13 with an under-over of 50. Now, the key ingredient to this game is if Tommy Armstrong Jr., the quarterback, is playing for Nebraska. If he is in the game, I'm going to take the Nebraska Cornhuskers minus the 13 points and roll from there because it's under 2 touchdowns. He is questionable. Now, if he's out, I'm not going to mess with it. But, I mean, when you look at what Maryland has done, I mean, guys, absolutely crushed by The Ohio State University. They lost their last 2 games, 59-3 and 62-3. Now you got to travel to Nebraska. Nebraska is pretty damn good at home. I believe they're undefeated at home, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take a shot with Nebraska if Mr. Armstrong is at the quarterback position and get them minus 13 points. Dream, you got any thoughts on the Big Ten matchup?
I do not have any thoughts on that. I wish you a lot of luck. Not going near that.
All right, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, quarterbacks, you have no idea. And, Maryland's quarterback as well, Perry Hills? I don't know how he might not play either.
Okay. He's
a game-time decision, so I just don't know enough about that with the players at hand. But I see where you're going with it if Armstrong Jr. plays.
All right, sounds good. So I'm going to kick it over back to the Dream and see what you got going on, my man.
All right, the next play for me, Washington State. I'm going to Washington State, Colorado. It's a big matchup, 3:30. Actually, you know what, Dan? I got to be honest with you, this is probably the second best game of the day.
Oh, you might be right.
This is a great game.
Washington State Cougars, Colorado Buffaloes game is going to be a pretty good game. I plan on watching this. If I can't watch, I'm going to tape it if I'm running around because I do want to see this game and I want to see what happens. Here's where I'm at with this game. I'm at the over. I love the over in this game. Both teams are able to put up points. Washington State's putting up 44.3, and Colorado is putting up 35. That is 79 points. We got an under-over number of 60, so it's a little bit of a disparity there as far as I'm concerned. I expect this game. Now, there is a lot at stake in this game, so that may cause for a little tightness early on. So don't be surprised if they don't open up the floodgates right out of the gate, first quarter, second quarter. But as this game progresses and these two teams become acclimated with each other, I do feel that both teams will find an ability to have some success against both teams' defenses. I do think that Washington State will win this game. I'm not sure if they're going to necessarily cover their spread. It is at 6 right now. I don't know if you got it at 7 or 6. I see it at 6. If you were going to take Washington State, I'd just get rid of all the points altogether. You get this in a money line situation.
I got it actually right now plus 5.5.
Yeah, you're okay. Washington State's an underdog, Dream.
Okay. Oh, you got to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong side of this. My bad. I like the over anyway. I don't like the spread. I don't like the spread. But what I should have said is at plus 6. You might want to take a small shot at money line in Washington State.
All right, on the road. Wow.
Yeah, I think this Colorado football team has actually been overlooked kind of all year.
Yep. I
see where you're going with the over, but this I don't know. I actually think Colorado kicks the crap out of Washington State today.
Really?
I really do, and I hate it because I love Mike Leach. He just is funny. If you ever watch a Mike Leach interview, right? I mean, he just resurrects football teams that nobody knew about. I mean, Colorado, they're not 12th in the country for nothing.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I really like Colorado, but I do like the over as well. I do.
All right. Well, the way it looks right now is that Colorado and Washington State could very well play each other for the Pac-12 championship. Because, when you look at it in conference play, Washington State is 7-0 in conference play. Utah is 5-2. So if they win out, I believe the way it would shake out, you would have Colorado versus Washington State because Washington State has to host Washington. So at that point, they're going to be in the equation too as far as the conversation with the playoff committee, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds. So, you know what? I think that both of these teams have a lot to play for, and it's going to be a tough game. And you know what, Dream? I'm just trying to understand your over with this because both of these defenses are not bad. You know what I'm saying?
Not too bad. I just think that the offenses are so potent. I mean, you look at Washington State right now, 517 yards. They're average, for the season. You look at Colorado, 465 yards. You got two explosive offenses and two dynamic offenses. Once they hit the field, I think they're gonna put up some points.
All right, and when you look at the defenses here, well, Washington 44 points a game, Colorado 35 points a game. Colorado gives up roughly about 18 and Washington State 24. So, you know what, Dream? I wouldn't panic if you're like in the second quarter and it's like 10-3. Right. Because you know what? By the end of the game, those defenses could get wore out and this game can't go over. So, I'm with you.
It's like that Colorado at Michigan game almost. And I think everybody and their mother was on the under in that game. And then they put up, 73 points combined.
Yes, sir.
So.
Yes, sir. Dan, where are you going next?
Yeah, so... I have my three plays that I'm going with today, but there's a game. It's so dirty, but it involves a top 10 team that I feel like we have to talk about it. Let's go with Penn State here. Penn State, number 9 in the country. They are a 27-point favorite at Rutgers.
Yes.
I'm almost tempted to take those 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. Rutgers is brutal, man.
Rutgers is so bad. And, guys, Penn State is back in some conversations now.
I agree.
Definitely.
Number 9 team in obviously a power conference. They really, 2 losses, but now that doesn't mean anything really. They have to go in if they have to blow these teams out. They have to go into Rutgers and just absolutely decimate them. And I think that's what happens. I think I could see this game, at halftime, 35-3, 35-0.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. You know what? I mean, Dan, we've picked on Rutgers all year long, and it's been pretty damn successful. So, Dream, any thoughts on that one?
Nope, I happen to agree with him. I think, I like Penn State as well. I'm not getting involved with it, but I think that you're onto something there. I think that's pretty solid.
All right. Sounds good.
Right on.
So, guys, I'm going to move over to another game here, and I am going to talk about Western Michigan, who is facing,
of course you are.
Who is facing Buffalo today, guys. But the thing is that they're giving 34.5 points. I think it's a lot. I just don't know if they're going to cover this. Buffalo is absolutely brutal. They've been brutal all year long. But you know what? There's just something that's not making me love Western Michigan minus the 34.5 today. It's just...
Weather and wind, too, by the way, in Buffalo.
Weather and wind?
That game's in Buffalo, right?
It's in Western Michigan.
It's in Western Michigan, my bad. Let's see. I thought there was weather out there, too, but that could really... change things, but
I mean, Buffalo only averages 18 points a game. They're offensively, they're not that good. The defense is pretty brutal as well. But I mean, Western Michigan does put up 44 points a game. But I just think that this is one of those games where they have a huge lead give up that last-minute touchdown or whatever, and Buffalo covers. That I'm just putting a warning out there for everybody that we've been making a lot of money with this team, but I just think they're overinflated just a touch. I really do. So, any thoughts on that, Dream? Western Michigan?
Oh, there's snow, baby. It's a snow game.
Is it a snow game? No
snow
thoughts,
and 15-mile-per-hour winds.
Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing?
No, nothing for me, player.
You better. Hey, listen. You better hope that Louisville doesn't draw Western Michigan.
Yeah, okay.
I'm telling you.
What?
I'm gonna hope, because Louisville won't.
I'm driving up to see you so I can get whatever it is that you were taking right. Louisville will. I mean, look. I know this Western Michigan team has done some great things, and I know Louisville just looked like garbage against Houston. But Houston, if you remember, I mean, their quarterback was, hey, he was a Heisman potential candidate before the season started, and their quarterback got sacked 11 times. That's not going to happen. Wow. You really think Western Michigan will beat Louisville?
I don't know if they'll beat them. I'm just breaking balls at that point.
I'm saying.
They're going to beat. I'll tell you right now.
That spread would be 3 touchdowns.
They're going to beat whoever they play if it's not maybe like a top 5 tier team. I'm talking about, like, if you want to throw them against like an Auburn, or you want to throw them against like a.
You think they would beat Auburn?
I think they would beat Auburn. I think they're going to shock the world, baby.
You know what I think's going to happen is Notre Dame finds a way to win out, and obviously they become bowl eligible, and then you see Western Michigan against Notre Dame, and then they can feel good about themselves.
There you go. So that's what I'm on. Dream, I'm going to kick it over to you and see if you got anything else up your sleeve. Obviously, we're getting close to the top of the hour, and I don't know if you have any more plays, but I'm sure there's a couple of games that you have that you want to discuss.
A couple games I've been eyeballing. I got 2 more games I got eyeballing, and there's one more little small statistic that we might want to talk about a little bit before we get off the air. In fact, I'll go right into that statistic right now because I know you are getting involved in that San Diego State-Miami game. Do keep your eye on Donnell Pumphrey, as he right now is number 4 on the list and moving up his most career rush yards in college football history. He's got 6,000. Puts him at the 4th spot. Tony Dorsett is above him. Ricky Williams is above Dorsett, and Ron Dane is above Ricky Williams. So Donnell Pumphrey, the running back for San Diego State, is attempting to put his stamp on college football history as he moves on throughout the season.
All right, sounds good.
All right, now as far as games are concerned, we haven't talked about the game that is going on today. And it's a very interesting game in some respects. Most are probably predicting a blowout. And yes, I'm going to Ohio State. I'm going to Urban Meyer, who are going to play Michigan State. Anybody that knows anything about this, you got a few great rivalries in football. This is probably in the top 5, I would say. Ohio State, Michigan State is a huge rivalry game, but Michigan State comes in an arrow, and Ohio State, unfortunately, got gone.
Oh, Michigan State. Poor Michigan State.
Poor Michigan State. But I saw a little life out of Michigan State last week, which was surprising to me. And they didn't really let Michigan completely embarrass them.
You're right.
Them too. So
you're right, Dream. What I just got, because what it reminds me of though is like when someone's really old and then like for like a year they get that last flicker and then something comes just snuffs it out. Yeah. And that's about what's about to happen to Michigan State. Ohio State today.
Yeah, I got Ohio State winning this game. I think it should be impressive. I'm just wondering where Michigan State's head's at as far as how they're feeling themselves and what their game plan is as far as this game is concerned. Ohio State should be able to do everything they want to do. JT Barrett should be able to get the ball down the field. Samuel should be a big part of this offense. I expect him to be able to throw the ball on this pass defense that Michigan State has that allows 200 yards through the air. And forget about on the ground. They allow 160 on the ground as well. So I would expect Ohio State to have some success there. The 21 points, that's the thing that you look at this game. The 21 points, my opinion, you put 7 on it or any other number on it, 7 or more, and you can't go wrong with Ohio State. I think Ohio State wins, and they probably will cover the 21. But you know how I am. I always like to be safe.
All right. Sounds good. So, Dan, do you have anything else? There's a game I want to talk about.
Well, there is one I want to talk about. I don't know if anybody has a line on it.
What do you got?
Chattanooga at Alabama. We have to, right? We have to because, come on, after last week, is there any doubt in anyone's mind that Alabama is not winning this national championship?
Yeah, there's a doubt in my mind, to be exact.
Really?
Yeah, I just think that the defense is going to carry them. Obviously, I just think the inexperience of Jalen Hurts is going to bite them at the end. I think something's going to happen where there's going to be maybe some special team scoring on the opposing side. Something's going to go down. I just can't see them just. You know how it goes. Usually the best teams don't win.
I know.
In most sports.
But they're so good. They're so good.
No, I know they are.
They're so good. Like I said, I really think you put them up against the Browns right now and they beat the Browns.
You think so, huh?
I would love to see it. I would if I was a billionaire, I would pay to see it. But no, I don't know if we have a line in the game. I think it's probably around like 56.
I'm trying to look right now and I can't find that game. Oh, 48.5.
48.5. See, There we go. My thoughts on this. Alabama doesn't care if they're playing a high school. They will step on your neck and twist a cleat in.
Right.
I don't think Chattanooga scores a point. And I could see Alabama winning this game, 60-0.
60-0.
Well, Alabama didn't step on LSU's neck.
LSU ain't no Chattanooga.
They sure were struggling to score some points in that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know, but that's almost a good thing for the spread in this game, Dream. Coach is going to be like, you got a guy who doesn't even pay attention to the election. He's in there. This guy's into his quarterback. He's like, look, I know it's Chattanooga. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And if you don't score me points, your ass is going to be on the bench.
Yeah, I got it. I understand. So, all right. Well, that's the line on that one. And I'm going to move over to a game that's, you want to talk rivalry, Dream, probably the biggest rivalry in college football, or one of the biggest. Yale-Harvard's today. Yeah, Yale-Harvard's today, guys. And Harvard, the Crimson, are 7-2 on the year, 5-1 in conference play. Yale just got murdered by Princeton in Yale. 31-3, okay? I'm looking at the line on this game. It's only 12.5. Yale football sucks this year. They're horrible. I'm taking Harvard minus the 12.5. I love the game. I'm all about that. I think they'll cover that at the half, to be honest with you. And I think they'll win this game by 20 or more points. Dan, I probably won't find an adjusted line on this, but if I was able to find one, I would take Harvard minus like 22.
You better call your guy in Vegas and tell him to run it special for you, because I'm kind of with you on that. If I saw it at minus 20, I'd be like, well, I'm on Harvard.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the Yale Bulldogs, they have only scored, they average about 20 points a game, and they're giving up over 35 points a game, guys. It's a big rivalry. It's going to be in Harvard.
Yep.
It's going to be electric. There's hundreds of thousands of people that go to these games. It's absolutely bananas out there. Yale's going to get pounded. So you know what? I'm all over it. And that's going to be my play of the day. Out of all these plays, out of all the collegiate football, out of all the top 25, I'm going to the Ivy League, and I'm betting Harvard today, Dream. That's
of course you are.
Dream,
Wyoming and Harvard, guys.
Wyoming and
Harvard.
And Nebraska, if quarterback is in.
Fair
so
enough.
that's pretty much it. So, Dream, you got anything else to talk about before we close out of here?
Last but not least, I'm going back to the pack. I seem to be all over the pack.
Yeah, you're like pack bound today.
I just see, because I see some things that are standing out, and I see some scoring opportunities. One more look at the pack, and that's going to be Washington, Arizona State. Washington, we know about their loss last week. All may not be lost for Washington, especially with Louisville losing yesterday.
Right.
So they're at home. They got a weak Arizona State team coming in with a terrible defense. I don't think Arizona State can handle this Washington team by any stretch of the imagination. Washington needs to bounce back and have a nice little drubbing to get themselves back on pace and make themselves back an issue as far as that pack is concerned. I got them beating up on this Arizona State. Once again, I'm looking at that total again. I kind of like over, and I do like Washington teased with the over. Get that down to under three scores, and I think you're all set. It's a 7:30 start, so you'll probably know some of your other stuff throughout the day as well. But I do like Washington tonight to get a win.
All right. Sounds good. Dan, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I just, again, team off a loss. I get a little concerned that they come out a little flat, and it's a big spread number. So I'm going to be cautious of that.
All right. Sounds good. So, Dan, anything else on the card?
No, not unless you're, interested in tennis. ATP final tonight.
No.
So,
not
just
at all.
that. I know a lot of people are betting on if you're able to bet on where Joanna Cespedes lines up. So, there's some crazy stuff out there. Whether we're going to see the apocalypse in the next 4 years, I think that's a bet you can make. But other than that, no, I'm going to stick with my 3 college football games today.
All right, sounds good. So, and somebody just tweeted at me. Lawrence Wall told me that if an odds makers put the odds on the Cleveland Browns versus Alabama, the Browns would be minus 27.
Yeah, I see that, and that's super interesting. Can we just get that to happen?
Yeah, right.
Back in the day, I can't remember if it was baseball. Maybe they did it in basketball too. There would always be these exhibitions, right, between like NBA teams and college teams. And in baseball, they still do it in spring training. Each team plays like a college team their first game in spring training. I would love to see, how much money would that draw? Guys, would you pay to see that on pay-per-view?
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely. So that's pretty much going to do it for us, unless you got anything else, Dream.
Well, I got a couple more things, but I'll make them real quick. First of all, NHL last night, Montreal Canadiens got me giving up 3 goals in the third period. Absolutely ruined an incredible evening because I hit the over in the football game, but I did lose a couple on that. Of course, unfortunately for me, the money was a little bit more on the football than that, but still just messed up a big night. Now, here's the hard head thing, doing the stubborn play. Guys, I don't know if you want to get down with this. If you don't, obviously do what you do. I'm not telling you what to do. However, I am going to be stubborn as Montreal comes back home tonight, and I am going to roll with them back to back and take them once again tonight. Kind of double down. They're playing Toronto. I expect Montreal to win this game. I'm being a little stubborn. If they should lose, I'm done with it. My hockey's really not there yet, so I'm kind of taking a little shot in the dark with this, but I'm taking Montreal tonight at home. Move it from the ice over to basketball. One quick game stood out to me really when I looked at the basketball today. The Charlotte Hornets are playing the Pelicans tonight. Pelicans stink. Charlotte's giving up 6. You might want to look in that direction if you're looking at the basketball. I do like the Charlotte Hornets to beat the Pelicans. My basketball and my hockey, not really quite at speed where I want it to be at. So keep that in mind if you're getting down with it. Take a look at it, make your own decisions, and go from there. Just pointing out a couple of spots that I am looking at for myself.
I do have one hoop play as well in the college card too. It's a big spread, so again, be careful, do what you want. But Miami is home at the University of Pennsylvania Quakers. Miami's won their first 2 games against Western Carolina and North Florida by like 50 points apiece. Oh, wow. This is only minus 20.5. I think Miami absolutely decimates an Ivy League team today and continues the good start to their season.
All right, sounds good, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us this early. I really appreciate both of you doing this so I can get to my kids' football game at 10:30.
And everybody for listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm going to close this thing out. Dan, what do you got to do to close out of here?
Yeah, guys, it's been a little while since I've been on. So happy to come back. Everybody, be easy today. The card is kind of dirty. So, I mean, what I'm going to do, again, just to recap it for you, I am going to go with that Miami basketball at minus 20.5. And then for the football card, it is Baylor minus 1, Utah minus 14, and West Virginia plus 3.5. Try and have a profitable day, everybody.
All right. Dream, where you at?
Yeah, real quick. Was told to ask you guys about the BYU game. Are either one of you on the BYU game today?
I am not on the BYU game, but I'm going to pull that up right now if you give me a minute. And do you have that on your screen, Dream?
I do.
All right. And what do you got for the opposing team and the line today?
Oh, hold on one second. You want to tell me?
They're at home against the Massachusetts Minutemen.
Oh, yep. I see it. I got
Who are
BYU.
8.
Wow, BYU minus 28.5 points. So this line started at 30, and it's down to 28.5. You know what? There might be a reason for it, guys. I don't really, I have not watched the Massachusetts Minutemen at all this year, so I honestly could not even begin to tell you anything about that team. Dream, and
they're terrible, but here's the thing. Massachusetts somehow has this weird thing for covering spreads against teams they shouldn't. They were at South Carolina. That was like a 30-point spread, right? South Carolina barely beat them by a touchdown. And some things like that. BYU also, guys, they don't beat anybody big. Look at the whole season, the whole schedule. And I know they haven't played anybody as bad as UMass, but they do not win big games. Or win by large margins. It doesn't happen.
All right. Sounds good. That's maybe why the spread has gone from 30 to 28.5. So
it's my plays arc today, guys. I already gave you the teams. I am probably, and I know you guys aren't going to like this, but look, you got to do what you got to do. I did talk about a teaser. After looking this over, though, I may end up going, and I haven't made up my mind yet, but it's just to give you a thought of where I'm at. It's going to be Utah, USC, and the Washington State over. I'm actually thinking about money line in Utah and USC. Put it in a parlay, money line Utah, USC, and taking the Washington State over and buying it down 8 to 10 points. Okay. I don't know if you got the ability to do that. I do. So if you do, you might want to get involved with that. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to try the 10 or 11 point teaser because you want to get these games underneath field goals in these respects. So if you got the 14.5 and the 13.5, then you're going to want to get involved with maybe an exotic teaser and knock that down. That would also work. An 11-pointer will work nice. Utah, USC, Washington State over, and I also like Washington regular over as well. And that's going to do it for me as far as that's concerned. Montreal Canadiens and also a look at the Charlotte Hornets.
All right. Sounds good. So my play of the day is Harvard. Harvard is going to whoop and beat the snot out of Yale. So I am all over Harvard today, minus the 12.5. If you were to give me more than that, I would take it. But 12.5 seems awfully low. It's under 2 touchdowns, so I'm very happy with that spread. Taking Harvard to get the job done. And I'm looking at a couple of other games here. Obviously, if Tommy Armstrong Jr. is in at the quarterback position for Nebraska, I will take them minus the points versus the Maryland Terps. And I'm looking at Wyoming to possibly shock the world. But I'm going to get them plus 10.5, which is the spread versus San Diego State. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Rise and grind. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Take care.
Peace.